to get into what it takes to be a good spoken word artist, I have no idea. I don't know what that is. The role of a poet, I can tell you what the role of a poet is. The role of a poet is to I think it's John Keats, poet from England, who said that poets are the midwives of reality, which is to say that all of us have a relationship to our gut, to our intuition, you know? Oftentimes the first to articulate it is the poet.
When you're looking for something from within yourself, you become a poet. So whether it has a musical background or not, we consider what we're doing poetry, and we use it to communicate ideas that we think are things people need to know.
I think that many of us who came through the Black Arts Movement understood our role as an artist, and that was very much to involve people with themselves, to get black folks again to love themselves, to love their communities, to love their noses and their lips and their color, to make sure that they understand. We understand as a people, and we understand as humans our role in the universe, on this planet, and begin to answer the most important question that I've said that is facing us in the 21st century, and that question is, what does it mean to be human? The artist attempts to answer that question of what does it mean to be human.
Muffled sound of fist on flesh, blows to chest, no breath, air gasps. You ain't nothing but white trash, bitch. With each hit, each kick, each broken rib, crack, crack. Bones are crying. Mommy's crying and bleeding and pleading, and then Daddy wants to fuck. Dick hard, swelled with power rush. And as if all that wasn't enough, Mommy is 7 months heavy with birth as Daddy grunts and curse-drunk nothings in her bloodied ear. First, lullaby, first son will ever hear and never forget. Mommy almost bled to death when she had him finally. She'd already lost 3, uterus shredded, bruised, and weak from being daily beat, and Friday nights were the worst, and Daddy never came with flowers. Instead, he spent hours at some corner spot with some bar cop named Cookie, putting his thing down, soiling Mommy's sheets with cheap talk shit, Cookie's cheap lipstick, hair grease, sperm, and Jezebel juice. To hell with the good news that he was a father for the first time. His thirst for wine and women clouded his vision. No warm welcome for mother and son, just the rank smell of ass crack, funk, and cum. But Mommy's prayerful strength, her best defense, she burned the dirty linens, made a fresh bed, laid sleeping first son down, and never made a sound. As she purged her scourge with birth blood and quiet tears, watching as her fears and love and sacrifice lie there in his soft skin and new life, breathing, dreaming, fresh from God's eye. Mommy's little survivor like her. Mommy called crazy and scorn 'cause she 2 more born. 1 boy soon after, the girl much later, and although they were both sung the same lullabies of hate, her first son, the first one, whose womb world was profaned, came of age playing street games with Stewie, Rezzy, and little brother, till his heart started to wither in pain and shame. Blamed Mom for the wrong she let Daddy do to her, and him let sins of the father cause his innocence to wander. Chose to squander his dreams, found honor amongst thieves, stopped believing in himself, became prodigal with his life, made impossible shit right with gang ties, crime, lies, erased wise, woeful words of mother, replaced them with absurdities of others who had also lost their way. Played a different kind of street game now. First son plunged deep, speak street family vows, espouse no causes but his own, see. He couldn't protect Mommy's neck from Daddy's grasp. He couldn't protect mommy's ass from daddy's wrath. He couldn't shield her ears from daddy's foul mouth, liquor breath, jeers. Syrupy confidence, his best defense. Brown bottles housed his swift descent. Phones called cops on block frequent for his shenanigans. Now daddy and him twins in addiction. Driven to false-hearted heavens and friends by liquefied demons. Had become what he despised. From conception till end, destined for demise. Survived 9 lives of staying high. Conning, jewelry pawning, arrest, theft, womanizing, only for money, never for sex. Bullet in chest, baseball bat to the head, left for dead. So eyes wide and glossy, speech slowed and slurred, lips twitched with caked up codeine candy in mouth corners. One December 24th. First son and false friend take final ride to suburban supplier. Shots were fired by an old Jew man with a shaky hand, but not shaky enough to miss hit. Lost boy in back. False friend runs for door, leaves first son bloodborne lying in blood on cold floor. Death was the cost of returning to innocence. Lost.
I think poet best describes what I do as what some would consider a career, but also a mother and willing to claim activists as something that I do and am. And I think that pretty much encompasses everything. Wife. My mother's an Italian American. My father is Southern black, but moved up here when he was like 9 or 10 and grew up in Nicetown in Philly. And they were married in like 1952. They got married, which in itself was a bold move, you know. And my mother kept their marriage a secret. Actually lived at home and never said anything. And then it came out, like she didn't tell her father. Her father found out from like someone, and threw all her stuff down the steps and threw it out. You know, that was deep.
I'm very glad to have her because I wanted a little girl. She came late, but she came, and I thank God for her. She was everything in school, everything. She went to St. Therese Catholic School and Sicilian Academy, where she was very creative, very creative. This is the dress that I bought her at Saks. Wow, how long ago was that? About
80s.
80s, yeah. Rob was her very best friend. Oh, that's when she graduated from Temple. Oh, that was a happy day. Look how cute she is. There's their Sicilian Academy uniforms. She was a fashion designer there, wasn't she? She had all the fashion shows at Sicilian Academy. They're still all friends today. Isn't that amazing in this time that you can have the same friends you grew up with?
But I met them at the same time on the same day.
On the corner,
right?
yes, walking around the corner.
On the corner of Cliveden and Rodney.
In Mount Airy.
I was 14 and they were 12. I had scoliosis, so I got the surgery, blah, blah, blah. I was in the hospital all this time. When I came home, I had to wear a brace.
And then I asked her, is that a metal bra you have on? And she didn't slap me. And we were friends ever since. I think Ursula is very insightful. I think I told you this like a couple of weeks ago. Ursula studies people and has a way of being able to explain why something is the way that it is. Like if let's say I'm on the corner and I might be like, God, you know, why did somebody throw some trash on the corner? Well, Ursula will be like, well, see, back in slavery, right, we didn't have the freedom to be able to put stuff on the ground. So now we're just trying to express ourselves.
You're funny.
So we have the liberty.
Philadelphia, especially in the early 90s to mid 90s, had a very special resurgence in what you call the slam scene.
There weren't very many outlets you know, in Philadelphia for an up-and-coming MC or poet or musician.
I mean, you had cats like Rich Medina, you had Trapita Mason, you had Wadude, you had Major Jackson, you had an unknown named Gil-Scott, and you had Ursula Rucker.
Because of that, you know, genres overlapped, you know, and MCs would have to go to spots where it's just this poetry thing going on tonight, just so you could get your, you know, your verse off or whatever, just so you could be heard.
Hip hop is not a music category, it's a culture. It's a culture. 1, 2, 3. You want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. You want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. You want something done right, you gotta do it yourself. You gotta do it yourself. Don't underestimate me cause I do poetry. My rhyme is sweet but deadly. Turn your platinum and iced him in novelty cause all you do is skeet on the mic with trite slang, talking yang yang, while I speak your lang with lyric, aromatic. Ain't gotta spit no gun click shit cause life is hardcore enough. Don't need to wax gangsta to be tough cause being black in America is rough.
Powerful. Powerful is the word that I would use to describe Ursula Rucker. As a person, as an artist, as a writer, as a vocalist, she has a real powerful vocal quality. And definitely as a mother, I mean, her children are outstanding, bright, young individuals that are, you know, independent, and they got that from her. Yeah, she's a powerful woman.
Celestial. Yeah, she's a celestial being. She's really not human. She's like beyond human. She has this energy that it comes from somewhere in the heavens. I mean, seriously, I'm really into kind of life beyond what we understand as human beings. And I think she's a celestial being. She's like from somewhere else here to, you know, in human form to kind of project some sort of message.
Tasks done well and real strong. She hear no praise songs, only thankless tribute for a beauty nightly wronged. Evil spawned and spurned, blood-birthed pride is never burned. What she must, she do and be damned, but the most pride is earned, enduring the damning sea. See, archfiend means to break the spirit down to ashes, but alas, his devilish designs find no easy target in the hard to hit, sorrow-sopping soul of black gold. So hold on, don't be sold on. A cliche that say, damned if I do. If you don't and you won't, you will never discover the power. So true, so true, so true, so true. So hold on, don't be sold on. A cliche that say, damned if I do. If you don't and you won't, you will never discover the power. So true. So true. So true. We now quarrel in rooms that were once filled with the sounds of loving, sweetlings toying and needful things enjoyed in secret, sacred places where smiles and warm hearts have sadly now become evasive. How could we ever waste this? Love once, absolute. Cold words fall hard and empty, one of us must choose. To our hearts be true, or our lives will lose. To our hearts be true, or our love will lose. So, hold on. Don't be sold on. A cliche they say, damned if I do. If you don't, and you won't, you will never discover the power so true, so true. So, hold on. Don't be sold on. That cliche they say, damned if I do, 'cause if you don't, and you won't, you will never discover the power, life's power, love's power, so true. So true, so true. So hold on. Don't be sold on. A cliche they say, damned if I do. If you don't, and you won't, you will never discover the power. So true. So true. So true.
We joke about it in the spoken word community that there was the Love Jones phenomenon, that before that movie, it was much more of an underground, people who were really dedicated to the word and to the sort of lyricism of it all.
One of the problems sometimes with the quote-unquote spoken word folks is that they assume that anyone can do it, and that's not true.
You could do Mary Had a Little Lamb, and you could just do that piece. You know what I mean? Mary Had a Little Lamb goes over well. But poetry pays specific attention to the content.
Ursula does what she does at a very high level.
It takes a certain level of concentration, a certain level of gravity, and emptiness and openness and ability to detach your being from your ego and allow yourself to become used. To be a spoken word artist, maybe you just need a nice voice.
Ursula Rucker is my personal savior. I'm gonna tell you how.
I was working at the Painted Bride. He calls me up. He had talked to King, I think, and knew that I was doing poetry. I had done the recording with King. And Ntozake Shange, who, by the way, lived right behind the Painted Bride at the time.
She stood us up.
And he was like, yeah, Ntozake Shange was supposed to do this poem to close our album, but she's away and we need it done now. We don't know when she's coming back. We can't get in touch with her. Can you do it?
Ursula said, well, I'll do it.
I will never forget that moment. Like, dude, are you crazy? Why would you call me up? I'm working at the Painted Bride. I'm the box office girl.
At first, I didn't have faith. I knew about Ursula Rucker. I knew about her reputation as a poet.
Dude, have you completely lost your mind?
But the idea in the roots is that you always give somebody a chance to at least hang themselves with their own rope.
He's like, you don't have time to think about it. We only have a couple days, and we have to record this. We're at the end. We're like past the deadline.
So we gave them the basis of what we wanted the piece to be.
And I was like, oh, you want me to write about somebody that's been gangbanged, but they're not the victim, they're the victor?
And she said, okay, call me in about 6 hours.
Okay, now you really have lost your mind, because I only had 2 days. I'm like, well, I have to think about how I can do this, because I can't write about something that's not mine. in some way. Even if it's somebody else's story, I have to have one little thread that's mine, you know? So I thought about it and I found that one thing and I said, okay, I can do it.
And we called exactly at 7 p.m. And sure enough, she said, it's finished. It's called The Unlocking. And she did it for us and our jaws just dropped.
You said you did it in 8 hours.
Yeah, well, he's exaggerating. 2 days was short enough.
I, the voyeur, peer as she begins her ritual, paying sexual tithes for few and untrue words of admiration, translation, sucker-ass lines of trash spewing from first one's unskilled lips that beg for pussy tricks that make his dick go quickly limp. She pimps her innocence as second one demands entrance through the back door. Bend over, bitch. You know this is what you were born for, to dig those soft and lotion knees into the floor and take it in that sweetly spread ass like a real pro whore. Her subsequent screams seem to praise, send messages of pleasure and pain to his fuck-tainted brain. But her screams mask laughs at his dumb ass as he quicker came than third and fourth one, just as dumb, invite themselves to join in. Third one wanna hit the skins old-fashioned style, while fourth one say, don't she got some DSLs, make a nigga jaw just swell to think? I wanna sink my inches into that bitch's berry-framed mouth. So one goes north, the other south, to sanctified places where in-house spirits will later wash away all traces of their ill-spoken words and complacent faces, and then, like their Minutemen predecessors, lewd aggrandized sexual endeavors, end abrupt. 'Cause neither one of them could keep their weak shit up corrupt. Fifth one stepped to her hip-hop clothed jester. Think like the others, he's gonna impress her. Hey Slim, I heard you was a spinner. Sit on up top this thing, black thick, and work it like a winner. So with the quickness, he had his pseudo-thickness all up in her, but suddenly he stopped mid-thrust. Seems she, nameless to cuz, had his stuff in a death cunt clutch. He fast falls from the force of her tight pussy punch, just like the rest of that sorry-ass bunch. Now here comes 6, ready to add his inactive shit to the mix, talking smack at that, saying, girl, I'ma wax that ass and stick that slit so hard, you gonna be calling me God. So he proceeds to poke and prod with clumsy finger and wax sex slinger. Condoms make me last longer. Wrong, 'cause her motions of snatch, however detached from the situation, cause his pre-ejaculation. Now seems to me she just wasting good pussy and time on dudes like number 7 who ain't learned their lesson. He wants to enter the flesh divine by dropping a kind of semi-sweet line. Your honey hole so fine and mile deep, I'm gonna leap into you like the ocean, do you right and make your head spin. So he jumped in and then he drowned. Got lost and bound in her taut canal, slave to the waves, made him come for days. 8th and last one's turn arrives. Plies her with familiar lies. Even more familiar still, 'cause this one here she used to love. But he never could quite see above her mound. A pound of flesh is all she was, no name, no face, or even voice. So poised, she rises, phoenix from the flame. Finally bored with their feeble fuck games, She smooth reaches behind her and takes straight aim at 8 shriveled up cocks with a fully loaded Glock. Parts lips, no, not expressly made for milking dicks. And then she speaks. Your shrieks of horror bring me bliss, I must admit. The thought that I could shred your tips with 8 quick clips, why that excites me. See, y'all fucked with the pussy, but I fucked with your minds. Lack of soul and respect was the crime. This here was a setup. So I want you to tell me what's my name? What's my name?
Ursula is what I call a consummate artist. Always, I think, digging into her history, you know, always daring to taste her own blood. And she'll look up and say, it tastes good, you know, because I know my bloodline.
On this day, there will be no talk of war or politic or disaster or death. Love is alive today, so we will speak only of love. There will be only love on tongue and lip and in heart and thought. And it won't be that Hollywood type of love, not TV love, not dime store novel love, and certainly not mainstream music love. Love, you know, love. Love that has been worked on like gardens and term papers. Love that has been nurtured like children and well, like children. Love that falls, crashes even, burns, but dusts off, fixes up, and rises. More brilliant than before, Phoenix love, yeah, Phoenix love. So let us speak only of love. Healing love, no herbal or over-the-counter love, real healing love like God's love, like mama's love, lover's love, child's love, best friend love, change the world love, human love, humans love, love soft, love hard, but just love. Enjoy this new garden, work on it together, and it will be beautiful. It will be perennial. It will grow from year to year. It will win blue ribbons and everything. Folks will come from far and wide just to see it and wish they had this kind of garden, this kind of love.
Poetry gives me heartache. It gives me joy, and it's given me a life. I mean, I live off of my art somehow, even when I don't have any gigs or I'm not doing any recordings. I'm not necessarily like making money. Here they come. You cool with that? Do you like butter? Let me see. You like butter? Look up. Yes. Look up. Yep, you like butter.
Let me see.
Let me see. You gotta do that. Blow the light, yeah. Yep. Let me see. You have a long hair on your chin. I know.
Hello, my name is Saul Hunter Green. I'm a Scorpio. My birthday is November 11th. And
that's the Scorpio for you. She gave you the most information.
See, cover girl. I can be Queen Latifah. Cover girl.